Good morning, it's Tuesday, April 28th, and today we're going to discuss an interesting relationship, and that is about the interconnectivity between desire and power. So the prompt from the Daily Stoic is, what power does all my wanting take from me? So there are some things in life that exert unnecessary power and influence over our thoughts and our behaviors, and they drive us to make decisions that we wish we wouldn't have, or in some cases, we're even embarrassed to admit that we let happen when we go back and conduct some self-examination. So through that process, it's helpful to understand the root cause. Where did that lording power come from? Well, most of the time it can be traced back to desire. So let's consider a couple examples. Maybe it's the influence of how we choose to dress in high school. Well, it's the desire to fit in. Maybe it's going to college without a major or choosing the wrong one. Well, it's the desire to fulfill society's expectations. Or maybe it's substance abuse. It's the desire to satisfy short-term feelings. Maybe it's to continue in a job that we know makes us unhappy. Well, it's the desire to maintain a standard of living or avoid risk and the unknown. And here it's helpful to once again revisit the Stoic framework of perception, action, will. It's easy for us to think about these things as events or situations that we must willingly endure and accept. It's what's behind that loathsome expression of work as just another day, another dollar. But the thing to remember is that the first step, the most crucial step, is proper perception. If we're misguided here, then so too are our actions and what we willingly accept. As Marcus Aurelius reminds himself, external things are not the problem. It's your assessment of them, which you can erase right now. If the problem is something in your own character, who's stopping you from setting your mind straight? So this is empowering. This allows us to shift the balance of power. This allows us to dictate the direction of our life rather than our life dictating our direction, which causes us so much dissatisfaction and anxiety. But the antidote to anxiety is action. As Marcus continues, you have to assemble your life yourself, action by action, and be satisfied if each one achieves its goal as far as it can. No one can keep that from happening. Now, there were some people in pre-Aztec Mexico, referred to as the Toltecs, who taught about a concept called mitote. And mitote, refers to the fact that our mind is a fog of what we believe. All the concepts of what we are, all the agreements that we've made with others, with ourselves, with God. To clear that fog, we have to rewrite the agreements that we've made. And that starts with the articulation and the removal of those controlling desires so that we can begin to take that power back. But this stuff, as I've mentioned before, is hard. It's uncomfortable to confront these agreements and desires. For me, it was and is an agreement with my career and the desire for a certain standard of living and the stability that that agreement afforded me. So for far too long, I've allowed myself to go through the motions, not living up to my potential, not feeling inspired or challenged, and oftentimes feeling resentful about the situation that I've found myself and let myself stay in. I'm somewhat embarrassed that I let it carry on for so long. But I can say confidently now that I'm making progress here, action by action, as Marcus put it. The first step was acknowledging that power it had over me and then realizing that my desires were misplaced. I mean, what good is financial stability in predictability if it leads you into stagnation? That's not being alive. That's not even being free. So I'm actively working on this on multiple fronts. I'm seeking other options within my current employer, but I'm also deeply exploring more fundamental shifts in my life by defining my mission and taking steps to enable and execute that. So whether you knew it or not, by watching these videos and our interactions, you're a part of that process. So thank you for that. And I'm excited to see where we go from here. So keep that in mind. We have to recognize what our desires are and realize the power that they exert over ourselves. Only then can we begin to take that power back. Have a great day.